Alright, bass heads. Your boy, the OG Soda Pop Kid, is back again. And I'm back down here after work. I'm just going to chop it up with y'all a little. Okay? And I'm going to talk about these old line drivers that I had on there. And about the new ones. And them new ones get down. I really didn't get to listen to them. You know what I mean? I made some adjustments on them, trying to fill them out a little bit. And I'm going to ask y'all a question on one of them. Anybody that's using Stetson stuff, especially. I'm going to use these right here and act as if I'm talking about those in there. Okay? These are the Hyphonics HFEQ. A 9-volt line driver, a 4-band equalizers right here. I've been using these for quite a while. I actually got 5 of those, man. Those are the 2 that was in the car. I was using one for the sub, and one for the doors to separate them, because these, I do believe, okay, that these, all right, if you're over here messing with this 4-band equalizer over here on either side, if you turn up any of these knobs, it gets into the bass, and as it gets into the bass stuff, gets into the highs as well. Because this one particular knob here, see where it says sub bass? Well, this was the bass one. The bottom one was the bass one. This one was now it's starting to rain. So I get it. It said it was going to rain after 6 o'clock, and I pulled my car back in this morning. I usually, if I want to go bass, y'all, after work, I'll come down here early and get my car and pull it in front of the house, so after I'm done cutting hair, I can go out and get me some bass real quick and then come back down here. And it called for rain this morning. I was down here. It was all nice out. I was like, oh, man, let me go grab my car, because after I'm done, I'm going to bass. And I was going to give some customers a demo as well. Some of them that's been watching my YouTube stuff. But anyway, let's go back to this. Where it says sub bass there, and then it says mid bass, then mid, then treble. Okay? Over here, it's got the main volume, the sub volume, and the fader. You know what I mean? And then the inputs and the leads for the lights and all of that. Well, on that new one, it has it has a sub output. A sub output, and then it has right next to the sub output, it has a frequency for the sub. Okay? And I want to know, and it says when I was watching the YouTube channel, that ranges like from 60 hertz to 90 hertz. And I don't want it at 90 hertz. I have my radio at 70. So it's like, where on that on that knob, would you turn it off if I don't want to use it? Just saying this sub thing was it. It was the frequency. And you want to turn it off. Or if it's turned all the way to the left, what frequency would that be? I'm guessing if it's turned all the way to the right, it would be at 90, but I don't want it at 90 hertz. I want it off. Because when I turn that up or down on that new one, you can hear the difference. You know what I mean? And I want it sounding like I have the slope on 70 hertz like on my radio at 24 dB per octave. That's what I have it at 70 hertz at 24 dB per octave. I'm trying to understand what that frequency knob is next to it, and I don't even want to use it. But I noticed on that Stetson HQX 764 is that their high-end treble side is totally separated from the bass side. You're not going to hear none of that going into the bass or none of that going into the highs and all of that stuff, man. That's why I wanted those. You know what I mean? Because with this one, it's powerful. This is powerful as I don't know what. They're powerful, and they got the little things on the top where you can turn off the front and rear, the off, or put them on whatever hertz you want, and the same thing over here for the bass. I had it technically turned off, yeah. You got 50 hertz, 80 hertz, and 120. I had it turned off so it wouldn't be used on this. But I know damn sure do know When the sub bass was turned on, that's where the cardboardy sound came from, right there on the sub bass. Because I would have it, you see how I'd have it right in the middle? If I turned it further, it would get worse. If I turned it the other way, then it was like turning it down lower. And what the hell frequency was even that? And why was it even getting into? This was supposed to be for the high ends. But it did affect the subwoofers. Now, with that one on, it's more cleaner. Those is more cleaner, and they're more like the subs should sound like a punch along with a low and loud. You feel me? Okay. Okay, that's that. So I just wanted to explain that. I'm gonna take those things home. Yeah, I like those EQs, and they're much better. And yes, one day I will get a DSP. I've been thinking about a DSP. Some people are trying to push me to a certain DSP. Well, if I get a DSP, I'm going to get a Stetson as well. I'm just going to match everything up. Okay, and when I get my door speakers, I'm going to get the Resilient Sounds Neos. You know what I mean? That's what I'm going to end up doing, but I'm going to have to rewire everything because they don't have those in 8 ohms. If they had those in 8 ohms, I can just plug and play. They got them in just 4, so I'm going to have to rewire them and run new wire all the way to the back. That's what I hate doing. But I'm pretty sure they're going to sound damn good. You know what I mean? So that's that. And I did mention that I'm happy with these Street 20s now. I had to drive around with them, play with them, turn them up, you know, play with them. Yes, they got to be revved up and all of that. And some people was telling me they like to idle and have all the output at idle and all of that. I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. You know, if me and Tony wouldn't have had the misunderstanding with me already having big case alternators, I would have went on and told him to make me 400s in the big case alternators. You know, then I'd be able to idle and drive turned up and did all that. But I'm getting used to these because they're doing their job. Or if I'm demoing, I got the C-Max Lithium in there anyway that can handle all kinds of everything as well. So, you know what I mean? But, you know, let me turn this on again. I think I showed. I'm sitting at 15.92, just sitting. And of course, when I'm street beating, it drops and all of that and all of this and all of this and all of that. But as I'm driving it, you know what I mean, it's charging back up. They do their job. So, and then they're smaller and there's more room under here now and yada, yada, yada. So I'm going to start just getting Tony to make backups now, which I think I did ask him to make a backup and I haven't heard from him. Now I got to hit him back and say, where's my my alternator? You know what I mean? But, you know, so I can have backups. So whenever something happened to these, I can just pack it up and send it back and say, I got an alternator coming back. I need it fixed. Can you fix it, please, and send it back? Boom. And that's the end of that, man. End of story. Boom, boom, boom. But now that I got them EQs in there, now I want to get this out there and listen to it. I want to drive around, and I've been turning that knob up and down to see what the difference. Now, with it turned all the way to the right, I get higher AC volts. It's louder. With it turned back to the other side, all the way to the left, my AC volts go down. You know what I mean? Which means I'm turning it on and off, but I wonder what frequency does that play? Because I don't want it at 90, I don't want it at 80. If it's straight up and down, I was told when them knobs are straight up and down, they're really not being turned anywhere, is what I was told. Let me act as if let me go back over here to these. I was told when those are straight up in the air, when they're at 12 o'clock like that they're really not doing anything until you start turning them to the right. True or false? That's any of them. True or false? If they're at 12 o'clock, they're not technically turned on at all. True or false? Okay. Because if that's the case, I'll just put that frequency straight up and down is what I'll do. I just put it straight up and down. But I know in that one, what I showed on that straight up and down, it's got that high-end cardboardy sound coming to them, man, through them. And I don't need all that. I can let my radio do that on its own. But I'm going to end up trying a DSP. Let me get back to that. All right, I got to know how to work that. Like, somebody that has one, I'm sitting there, and I was like, this is what it does, bro. And that bass don't get into the highs, and the highs don't get into the bass. They're absolutely, positively, totally separated. Okay? Yeah, they're totally separated. Period. You know what I mean? Well, I'll just have one instead of two of them, just one of them. And I can have that, and I should get to be happy when with one. I'm looking at them and can tell. And then I have to get one. I have 8 amplifiers, so if just one plug-in, RCAs, and then run them back and do jumpers. I probably need one of those boxes. You know what I mean, with 8 outs coming off of them. So each amp can have its own RCA plug-in. You know what I mean? It comes from the DSP back to the box, and then boom. And then another box just for the highs. Are you feeling me? You're feeling me. Okay. But I'm going to try one sooner or later. Let me absorb these EQs first, because I already have an idea how I would even hook the DSP up if I had it. And I would put it up front here where I can touch it. That's just what I do. I put it right up front where I can touch it. I want to reach out and be able to touch it. You feeling me? All right, so that's the end of that. All right, so I'm going to take this thing home and put it away. If anybody want to end up buying these, I'll just sell them for like real cheap. Like $30 a piece, man. I got 5 of them, like I said. I'll let them go for $30 a piece. You got to come and go. I'll ship them. You'll pay for that, though. And that's the end of that, man. So I just wanted to touch bases on that. And now I need to get me a meter, and do some testing. Yeah. All right, so it's your boy, the OG. Oh, and not like I said, I'm sitting here brainstorming on where I'm going to move this. How I'm going to move it. I'm brainstorming. And then I got to rerun all that wire and run jumpers off of them, yada, 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 yada. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Peace, people.